guys, glad you could join me today. I'm just reading through a book that's kind of telling me some different things about some different critical thinking. I think it's important that we read things that help us to become a better person. But today, this might help us be a better person too. We're reading David Walliams' Codename Bananas. Now today we're on chapter 59 titled Chomp. Make sure you pay close attention so you can answer some questions, so that you can retell us about the chapter, and so that you can fill in the blanks on another one. Let's get started with chapter 59, Chomp. The captain himself was at the steering wheel of his U-boat. 9 minutes bis es exploded, he barked to his crew. 1 minute to explosion, translated Sid. Upon seeing the three, the captain shouted over the noise of the fire bell ringing. You cannot stop us now. Eric, the ladder, shouted Sid. The boy ran to the bottom of the ladder, but it had been pushed upwards to be stored. It could only be reached by a grown-up, not a rather short 11-year-old boy. I can't reach. Sid charged over to where the boy was standing, but Spear thumped the old man on the back of the head with the butt of his pistol, and he fell to the ground. Thump. Uncle Sid, shouted the boy. The gorilla bared her fangs and snarled at the captain. Roar! Don't worry about me, called the old man from the floor. Open the hatch. Gertrude, shouted Eric. Over here. I need your help. The gorilla leaped across to the boy. Thump. Eric jumped on her back, and Gertrude leaped up towards the hatch. Boing! The boy's hands grabbed the bottom of the ladder and slid down to the floor. Clink! Thanks, Gertrude, he said, climbing up the gorilla's back to scale the ladder. Then Gertrude jumped down to tend to Sid, as Eric tried to open the hatch. Stop that boy, shouted Spear, but his crew were too scared to try to pass that ginormous ape. Cowards, he screamed before abandoning his steering wheel. The submarine immediately felt as it were lurching off course. Creak! The captain raced over and grabbed hold of the boy's legs. Not so fast, cried Spear, trying to yank the boy down. He'd very nearly done it, but Gertrude had now helped Sid up to his feet, and the old man rushed over to tackle Spear. See if he's ticklish, Uncle Sid, shouted Eric. I am the most highly decorated captain of the entire U-boat fleet, protested Spear. I am not ticklish anywhere. Everyone's ticklish somewhere, said the boy. Immediately Sid went to work, tickling the man's ankles, then behind his knees. But there was no reaction. If only Sid had this handy guide. Where to tickle a Nazi U-boat captain. Inside the ear, not ticklish. Elbows, not ticklish. Belly button, not ticklish. Small of the back, not ticklish. Thighs, not ticklish. Ankles, not ticklish. Behind the knees, not ticklish. Bottom, tickle hotspot. If Sid had been in possession of such a guide, he would have known exactly where to tickle Captain Spear. As it was, he tried lots of places to no effect whatsoever, so he called for help. Gertrude, he cried. The gorilla lunged at the submariners to startle them. Grrr! Before leaping over the ladder. Somehow the animal knew exactly what to do. Go straight for the bottom. Gertrude tickled Spear there for a moment. Tickle, tickle, tickle. Oh, ha, 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 please, no. Then she went in for the kill. The gorilla bared her fangs and sank them right into the captain's buttocks. Chomp! Oh! Screamed Spear. The captain immediately tumbled down on top of Gertrude and said, I've nearly done it, called Eric. Are you sure I should open this? Scuttling the submarine is our only hope of saving Churchill, shouted Sid. So the boy took a deep breath and spun the final lock on the hatch. With all his might, he pushed the hatch against the weight of the River Thames above, but he just couldn't do it. It was far too heavy. Gertrude, he called down. The ape leaped up onto the ladder. The boy mimed what he was trying to do, and Gertrude nodded her head. You are going to like it, Gertrude. You are not going to like it, Gertrude. I know you hate water, said the boy. The gorilla shrugged. Together they pushed the hatch on top of the U-boat, and let the filthy black water flood in. Splush! The flood of the water washed them both down into the hole. Thud! It swept all those in the U-boat off their feet. Splosh! Gertrude screamed, whoop, whoop! Gorillas can't swim, and the poor creature was up to her waist in the water. Hold on, old girl, cried Sid. He grabbed the mop to reach the gorilla. However, while yanking the mop from the catch on the wall, he'd managed to whack the handle and onto his forehead. Clunk! The unlucky old soldier knocked himself out cold. Captain Spear held on to the steering wheel as the water roared in. Struggling against the flood that was drowning him and his U-boat, he reached for the key that was on the chain around his neck before plunging it into a lock on the control panel. As he did so, a large button on the panel lit up red and buzzing. Sound filled the cabin. Buzz! I pressed this big red button and kaboom! Announced Spear. We all die together. And that will do it for chapter 59. Now, remember, you do have to retell us about the chapter. What happened in that chapter? Be sure to use details in as many words as possible. All right, have a great rest of your day. We'll see you tomorrow for chapter 60.